So in this example, as you can see, we have a big fraction with multiple x's, multiple y's, and multiple coefficient numbers in the numerator, while I have a singular number, a singular x, and a singular y in the denominator, while the whole fraction is being raised by the third power. So to simplify this work, what I need to do first is I need to make sure the numerator has a singular number coefficient, a singular x, and a singular y before I combine all the x's top and bottom within the fraction, and then combine all the y's top and bottom within the same fraction. So let's work on the numerator. In the numerator, it's 3x to the fourth, y to the fifth, times 2x to the second power, and y to the third power. So again, when we're multiplying, with the number coefficient is just regular numbers multiplying each other. So 3 times 2 is 6. Now for the x, since the x are multiplying, we're going to add the exponent, so 4 plus 2. Same thing with the y. They're multiplying to each other, so we're going to add the exponent, so it's going to be 5 plus 3. And then everything else will stay the same because I'm only simplifying the numerator. So once I simplify the numbers and showing the work that I'm combining the exponent, so my numerator will look like this. So 6x 4 plus 2, that's 6 for the x. For the y, 5 plus 3, that's going to be 8. And then everything else will stay the same. Alright, so after I combine all my number coefficient into 1 from my numerator, and my x's into 1, and the y's into 1, we finish with the numerator. Now what we're going to do next is combine the x's together and combine the y's together. Now be mindful that my number coefficient, the 6 and the 5, has positive 1, invisible positive 1, excuse me. Alright, so they're going to stay where they are, and we're going to have all the x's and all the y's on the top. So I'm going to have x to the power of 6 minus 8, because remember, top minus bottom, and the y, 8 minus 2. Again, top minus bottom. And everything else will stay the same, because the 6 and the 5 has an invisible 1, and there was nothing you can do to simplify between these two numbers. But when it's in a fraction, always check if you can simplify. Always check if you can simplify. But in this case, we cannot, so we don't need to worry about simplifying. They just need to stay where they are. Alright, and then here we're going to simplify the exponent for x, and the exponent for y. So again, everything else will stay the same. So here we're going to have x to the negative second power, because 6 minus 8 is negative 2. For the y, it's going to be to the sixth power, because 8 minus 2. Alright, now since we do have a variable, x, that has a negative exponent, what we're going to do is move it to the opposite side, which is from top to bottom, to make a positive exponent. And the ones that has positive exponents, they're going to stay where they are. So in my numerator, it's going to be 6 y to the sixth power over 5 z to a positive 2 power. So again, I move x from the top to the bottom, so that way I can convert the exponent from negative to positive. Now here, since we have the exponent outside the parenthesis, I'm going to distribute to all the exponent inside. But remember, the 6 and the 5, the number coefficient has an invisible 1. So what I'm going to do is distribute the 3 that's outside to all the exponents inside. So when I do that, it's going to look like this. 6, 1 times 3. For the y, 6 times 3. For the 5, 1 times 3. And for the x, 2 times 3. So I'm going to have 6 to the 3rd power, y to the 18th power, over 5 to the 3rd power, and x to the 6th power. Now here, we're not finished. I need to simplify my number coefficient because now they have exponent besides 1. So 6 to the 3rd power is 216, and then y to the 18th stays the same. 5 to the 3rd power is 125, and x to the 6th stays the same. There's nothing in common between 216 and 125, so I'm going to leave the fraction like that. And that will be my final answer. So again, make sure your final answer has only positive exponents. And again, here, when you're distributing your exponent from outside the parentheses, make sure you distribute to all the exponents, including the number coefficient. And one thing I noticed in the past is that some forget to simplify the number with their exponent. For example, 6 to the 3rd, you have to simplify that and make sure you write 216. 5 to the 3rd, you need to simplify that and make sure you write 125.